Hey, what's up? It's Adam and
Samantha!
back again with another episode of Intimate Encounters. I think this is episode 5? 4 or 5?
We're getting there.
We'll get it. We'll get better at counting.
Yeah.
But
I think it's 4.
so yeah, we're joined here today by one of our really good friends, Anastasia, who we both met, I think, at the same time.
Yeah.
A few years ago.
In
Bansko.
Yeah.
And hit it off for various reasons. One reason close to my heart is that she is Russian and I learned Russian at university. But in this episode, we're going to talk about breakups. So first off, before we get into it, let me just pass over to Anastasia. Introduce yourself, tell us a bit about you, what you do, things like that.
Okay, hello everybody. I am Anastasia. Yeah, as Samantha and Adam told, we met each other 2 years ago and it was a really fun time. And well, I live in St. Petersburg now and I work as a brand manager. And I'm going to talk about breakups and share my personal experience, and in general I would like to talk about relationships because that is very exciting topic for me, because I find that relationships are quite I mean being in a relationship, it's quite hard work. In order to maintain it well, you should try hard and learn every day. It's like a skill. So
Definitely. Romantic relationships, friendships, everything. It's definitely
everything. Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's a skill. For my personal attitude towards relationships, it's like you're learning it and developing like a skill, like any skill, like writing, singing, dancing, and relationships. It's the same.
Well, I guess kind of to flip that on its head, we're kind of going to talk about when that skill breaks down.
Not necessarily a skill.
Yeah, true, actually.
But like, I think more so like when do you feel like developing that skill is, not worth it anymore?
Yeah.
Like what brings somebody to say like cut the tie? What happens after? What's the aftermath? Did you make the right decision? And then kind of how you cope with it. So I think like one of the first things we should really get into is just like, what are some things that you felt personally, or what you think in general relationships have that they don't have anymore that causes people to break up?
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea. I think that's great. Who wants to go first? Should I go first?
If you want to, it seems like you want to.
Yeah, go on. Can I go first? No, I would actually say out of the three of us, I'm probably the least experienced in terms of like long-term relationships. I would say I've only had like 3 proper like relationships in my life. Longest one being about 1.5 years. And 2 of them stopped just because we didn't want to do long distance. So it was just I was moving away, or we were just going to be living in different countries, and we just thought for the best, like that we shouldn't. Neither of us wanted to do long distance, basically. And then the final one was more that it got to a point where, well, okay, in terms of the skill, obviously in a relationship, you're like a team, right? And you're working through problems together, and if problems arise, you need to talk through them and you go through them together. But I think there's also, I personally felt in this one, I got to a point where some of the things that were happening with her were starting to like negatively impact me, and I felt kind of helpless, and that I couldn't help her. Like at the start, I was like, yeah, like we can solve this problem together. Like she was going through some difficult stuff, and I was like, well, I want to be proactive and help. We are the team. But then it got to a point where I was like, I don't think I can help her anymore. And I feel like me being here, although it is helpful for you, it's actually like negatively impacting me now. And therefore, like I decided that I couldn't carry on with it anymore. And so I actually ended it because of that.
Yeah. It's very understandable.
What do you guys think about that?
I think it's a right decision when something is impacting you negatively. I mean, something which is going on personal with the other person, and and you feel bad. I mean, it impacts your emotional health. Then yeah, I think it's a right decision that you made.
Cool. I feel like,
No, yeah, actually,
I'm glad. I feel, yeah, I think like I don't feel like I threw in the towel like super early. Like I feel like I was trying to help and do as much as I could, but also at that time, like I was quite young. I was like 18. And so I kind of felt like, on the other hand, I do feel a bit bad saying this, but I was like, well, is it worth me being this young trying to like fight it out for this relationship when maybe we're just not that good of a match, and you know we're both really young, we have so many more people to meet, like let's rather than trying to fight through something for years, like we could have way more like we were both actually, this was both our first ever relationship, and that as well, I thought, well, maybe it's time for us to move on to like pastures new, and we can, you know, both find other people who we're better suited to.
I think that's a really valid point, and something that's really being part of who I am for almost my entire life. Which, I mean, I guess that would also, I think a lot of insecurity around breakups, for me at least, comes into play, that maybe I've never really wanted to be in a relationship, and that therefore I throw in the towel too early. And yeah, I don't know. I guess it's really interesting to be kind of examining this right now, because it's always been like kind of I don't know. I'm just gonna throw it over to you, Anastasia.
I think being in a relationship.
My wheels are turning, but they're not turning fast.
It's all good.
Well,
I
I think being in a relationship, it's a choice. It's like getting married or not married, having kids or not having kids, or anything else. Being in a relationship is just a choice of two people, and if two people decide to be together, my opinion is that they have to really work on it if they decide from the beginning. And in the beginning, I think people should discuss the model of their relationship. For example, some people like just how to say, hooking up, like just see each other sometimes, and some people start relationship with very serious intention, like with further intention to get married and have kids. So I think it's very important to discuss about it as early as possible. Also, I understand that a lot of people, they are very young and they don't really know what they want from that. They're just experimenting and just like to feel good, like to feel in love, and etc. But they don't really think what they're going to do in the future. So I think in my personal experience, when I had a really tough breakup recently, it was a year ago, and it wasn't an easy decision. I was thinking about it for a very, very, very long time. First time that thought came to me in the first year of our relationship, when I faced something that I didn't like, and I didn't tell to a person. I really had some communication issues. When I'm analyzing everything we had and thinking about it, I understand now that I didn't communicate well. And for having a really healthy relationship, you have to communicate everything. And everything should go from with intention of love. Everything you say, it shouldn't be it shouldn't cause a conflict. It should your intention should be to find some better solution together. So it shouldn't be like, oh, you didn't do that, how could you, how dare you, but honey, I would like to talk to you, something that you did to me, I met, how to say, I felt really sad that you did it to me, could we please talk about it? Yeah, it should be something like that, but not something just bring the issue. Yeah, so the breakup stuff, that's a really hard topic, but I think it's very important for a lot of people. And understanding the point when you want to split up is a long, how to say, in terms of time. It's not just you're deciding today, just like that, cutting off. It's like you're thinking about, yeah. It's usually it's something that started a long time ago and wasn't discussed. It wasn't discussed between each other. So some of the one of the partners was holding it for a very long time, and it's like it's accumulating during the time, and at some point it's just burst like a bomb. That's something which has happened to me. I was like holding in myself a lot of contentment. What was the name?
Discontent?
No. It's something you feel, but you are not. Oh my God, sorry. I didn't speak English for a long time. I forgot a lot of words. So it's something that, for example, the person who your partner did something to you that you didn't like, but you didn't discuss it. You didn't tell about it, and you were holding it inside of you for a very long time, and then. What was it?
Resent? Like
resent, yes. Yes. That's the word. Yeah. Yeah, English. Yeah, so my point is communication is the key. And for moving on, yeah.
Well, like
you're telling something.
We're just a little bit. I think we're good. Maybe. Oh. Like a frog.
Hello.
Hello. We're back.
We're back.
I think we're back.
Yes.
So, one of my last serious relationships actually ended when I was Adam's age, like 24, 25 years old. And in that relationship and all of my previous relationships before that, I was very communicative with my partners. But that relationship, every time that I brought something up or he brought something up, we just fought every single day. And it took until almost 2 years of this relationship with us communicating, which wasn't really communicating because we were just fighting every single day, before I was just like, I'm throwing in the towel, I'm leaving. And ever since then, I feel like every single relationship that I've gotten into or started has just been me too scared to really communicate my real feelings or to actually say something, because I don't want to fight ever again. That was awful. So I just throw in the towel before it even starts, and I'm like, fuck this, I'm running away. I'm like breaking this off, and I don't know if I'm gonna change from that, because it's been like 6 years, and I think it's kind of like into my personality now. And if that really, I don't know, is that even breaking up at this point, if I'm not really committing myself to a relationship? And I just say, fuck it, I'm gonna go on the Camino.
Yeah.
Fuck it, I'm gonna like kick you out of my apartment. Fuck it, I'm just gonna be like, nah. Is that breaking up? And like, how I guess, yeah, how are breakups affecting you now? It's like actually super curious to me, because I think that this is something I'm like kind of realizing in this call, but like something that I've always had at the back of my mind.
Mm. Huh. I think it is still a breakup if you're like not seeing them anymore. But I think it seems to me what you're asking really is it really a breakup if I've never committed?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I'm not sure, you know. I mean, I don't, do you have any? Wait,
do you have any insight?
Do you have any insight, Anastasia? I think I need to let that process a bit.
What do you think, Anastasia?
Yeah, I'm trying to understand the question. Do you mean like throwing a towel and just leaving is a breakup, or did I understand it correctly? I think I didn't understand it well.
This is like last serious relationship. I've had many relationships that last anywhere between 3 and 6 months. But every single time that it's gotten too serious or whatever, I've either moved away or I've, you know, made up some kind of excuse like I couldn't be there, or I just like literally kicked them out of my house and ignored them. Like, not great tactics. So I'm just like, I'm wondering almost, is that like, would that be considered a breakup? Because like, did I really commit to it in the first place? If I don't know.
Yeah, I think you didn't really fully committed to the relationship in the beginning.
Yeah.
So I don't think that is a breakup. Yeah, you even didn't start it, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel your question's getting at something more deeper, though, in terms of like you're. It seems like you're nervous to commit.
Yeah.
And scared to commit to someone. And this is something that you said, Anastasia, a moment ago, and someone else we've spoken to recently said, which is like, and even I actually said it earlier, but like how it's like an active choice when you're in a relationship that you are like committed and in a team.
Yeah.
And my like last couple of relationships really felt like that. I think especially in today with this kind of like hookup culture, it's more just like, oh, we're kind of seeing each other. And so like,
yeah,
I wouldn't say I've like, at maybe my first ever relationship, but like ever really been like, right, that's it. No one else. It's just me and you. And that's it. We're gonna like be power coupling it up and
against
doing
the world.
Against the world. And I think if you don't have that, then a breakup
doesn't mean as much.
It doesn't mean as much. And maybe the reason you're not doing that is because you're scared.
Yeah.
It could be because it sounds like that's
but
why.
Maybe that's why you're doing it too.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck us.
I think part of it for me is I kind of wanna be a bit of like a fuck boy at the moment and just kind of like taste the fruits of the trees.
You're in the wrong place.
I know I'm in the wrong place right now. I came here to snowboard and now we're on fucking quarantine. There's no girls in Bansko. Sorry, girls who are in Bansko.
I'm a girl in Bansko.
There's not that many girls in Bansko, should I say. But yeah, so I think that's just where I'm at right now. But what I find that if I meet a girl who I do like, then I'm like, oh, this is so warm and cozy and lovely, and let's just do this instead. Like, but then there's still that bit in my mind where I'm like, but I'm supposed to not be committed to people right now. And then you're in that kind of middle zone where you're like, well, I love seeing this person, it's so great, but I'm not fully committed. And then you're also like, I kind of want to be like play the field and like sleep with lots of people. And and so I don't know. Yeah, this is a point. I feel like
where's our point?
Where's the point? You get what I'm saying, right? Huh?
I mean, it's like it depends on how do you perceive relationships on the first place. I mean, I think also the cultural difference plays a role here. I mean, in Russia, we are very traditional, and most of the women want to get married as soon as possible, which I really don't like actually, but most of them are. And the same with guys, very soon when they meet the right. Hello?
Yeah. We see you. It's just a little laggy.
Little laggy.
It's all right. We're good.
Yeah. So I mean that it also can be a cultural difference. For example, for me, I like to be committed from the start in the relationship, and for me, the healthy relationship is when a guy and a girl they decide to be a power couple from the beginning. Not just, I don't really like just seeing each other, sometimes not seeing, and I think it's just a waste of time. Yeah, for me personally.
Fair. I'm actually gonna start doing more of that because I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna flip. It's gonna be different. You're gonna see a whole new Sam.
One thing I feel like that I'm experiencing that's similar to what you just said, Sam, is like, it's not in relationships, but it's more for the past few years, I've been trying to find what to do work-wise. And I've been experimenting with lots of different ways to make money. And I would find that if I hit a roadblock to things, I'd be like, I don't really feel like doing that anymore. And then I'd change my idea, and I'd change, and I'd change, and I'd change. And I think really it's because, part of me thinks it's because I haven't found the right work where when the roadblocks do hit, I'm committed to like seeing them through. So it could potentially be as well that you haven't found like the right person that you actually want to stay with when times get tough. But it could also be that you are just kind of, you're a bit scared to commit and to go through those hard times, because it can get ugly, and you can have arguments, and yeah, you kind of have to weather the storm.
Yeah, and actually, I think before starting a relationship, you have to know what kind of person do you want to be with. You have to know your personal values and meet the same person with personal values, and also you both have to have similar goals. That's what I think. And before starting anything, also I think it's very important to be healthy mentally on the first place, in order to not as you Adam said that the negative stuff from the girl was impacting you negatively. So I think everyone should work on himself first, and then to start working on the relationship with other person. I think it's very important.
On that point, I would just like to make a note that I feel personally that most of my friends that are in a relationship, or most people that I meet that say that they're in a relationship, and I meet them and their partner, I'm just like, why are you dating? Why are you together in a relationship? Yeah. What the fuck? Like, you clearly don't like each other. You have nothing in common. There's literally nothing about you that I even want to be together with you as. This isn't every single relationship I know, but this is most of the people that I encounter that are in relationships. And it's shocking to me that, I mean, I really genuinely feel that the craziest people I know, or the most unstable people I know that would never be happy alone, are in relationships. I don't know if this is just me and if it's completely out of left field. I don't know. I'm just making an editor's comment. Is that, can I do that now?
Yeah, of course.
Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
I think more people should break up.
Yeah.
Is what I'm really saying. Like, more people should break up, because I can clearly see that they're unhappy.
Yeah, a lot of people are actually in the relationship and they are deeply unhappy. They are just, they are afraid to be alone. I think that's the reason. And also, I don't think that those kind of couples are going to last long. I mean, a lot of people are, for example, in my family, I have aunts and uncles which are really unhappy but they are still together for 50, 60 years, and they're still living together. But I was asking, why aren't you just splitting up? And they're, oh, we got used to that. It's fine already. But they are still unhappy. Then I don't know. It's their choice.
I mean, but I feel like one of the privileges of, living in our generation is that we do have a choice. Like, I think if you're like my parents, for example, they felt like they really didn't have a choice. Like, they are still together. They should have split up when I was younger. They're actually, I think, happy now, but like they definitely weren't when I was growing up. And they felt that they couldn't break up because it would disrupt the family. And I think like a lot of families have the same kind of idea, or they're like, oh, I can't do any better now because like I'm already like at a certain age or like this certain milestone, and I can't, like, why would I? Like my grandparents, for example, horribly miserable. Horribly miserable. Like my grandmother is doing a lot better now that he's not with us. God rest in peace. But I mean, sorry, but and it's just like, I don't understand why people our age or in our generation are still together and not breaking up if they're so visibly unhappy.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's worrisome in a way. I think it's different in our, like in the sense that we're digital nomads. Like, we're working online, we're moving around, we're travelers, we're a bit more open-minded. And so I feel like there's a lot more single digital nomads in both sexes. But like, I mean, if I look back at all of these people that I still know in Canada or the US, they're living in the suburbs and probably gonna be unhappy at some point, or may already be, and they can't break up because of these societal pressures.
Yeah, I think one point is it's the difference between generations, that our parents really think they don't have choice. And also another thing is that we have a lot of choice now, and that's why we kind of don't want to commit to a serious relationships, because we understand that we can meet a lot of people and we can be happy with a lot of people and also alone. So yeah, that's the difference between generations.
One thing I'd love to ask then, I think would be really good for us to talk about now, to add value to you guys listening, is like, what's the best way to go about a breakup? Or what are the ways that we have gone about breaking up? How have we dealt with the actual conversation? How have we dealt with the aftermath? In terms of like immediate, like I definitely have something which I've started doing after my breakups, like literally like the day they happen, which helped me. And then like, what do you do in the coming weeks and months in terms of communicating with them, in terms of going out? Like, how? I think this would be pretty good. What do you think?
Yeah, we can definitely do that. Can we just take a quick pause?
Yeah. Cool. So back from our little break. Okay, so I think I'm actually going to start off with what I do once the breakup has happened. One thing that I found has like helped me in the last 2 times is literally just like going to my room and just crying for several hours. And like, it's like horrible, but usually it's bittersweet as well, because I'm like remembering like all the good times, and I'm like, this isn't going to happen again. One thing that I feel definitely is like this sense of, I guess, kind of being alone and being like, fuck, like almost like there's no one else that can be there for me right now. And I kind of feel almost like naked and weak and vulnerable, just because like all your emotions are on end. Like it does feel like you've been kind of, I definitely feel like I've been like ripped apart, like a part of me has gone. And one thing that I've done the last 2 times is take all that crying and just write, and just like write through, like I love journaling. I find it's like super helpful for me at night. So I would just like write up like everything that's happened. Like I write like, I'm so sad that we're not going to do this again. Like I love this memory, and all that. And then then I've been writing up that, to be fair, the last 2 breakups have been because of like distance. So it hasn't been because like one of us has like properly fucked up, I would say.
Not just a fuck up.
Not just
Not just a fuck up that people break up.
No. Yeah.
There's lots of different
There's
reasons.
loads of different reasons. And then write like, I've written like a farewell letter to the girl and just being like it was so lovely to have you in my life. Like I really enjoyed this, like really appreciated this. Like I'm sorry it's not going to work out or for whatever reason. I've always found that after I've done all of, I think the last one, like I had like 5 or 6 hours of this just like in my room on my own. But then once I sent it, I'd like go for a walk and just kind of, I feel like most of that emotion has kind of, a big part of it anyway has been processed, and that's kind of had let me at least start the healing process.
Wait, so you actually send these letters?
Yeah, I actually have the last 2 times. But I think because we ended kind of pretty amicably, I did. If it ended less amicably, I'm not sure I would send it.
Okay.
Though part of me feels I should, just because it's like, for me at least, it feels like complete closure then. I'm like, that's it, we've kind of sealed it off. There could definitely be more crying in the coming weeks or in immediate days, but yeah, for me that's worked really well the last like couple of times.
Okay, for me it was, I understood that you were focusing on you. That's what I do as well. One of the last times, the guy broke up with me, and it was very sudden. I wasn't prepared for it at all. He just, invited me to the dinner, and it was very nice place, very nice dinner, and I was very prepared for the date. And he's like saying, Anastasia, I would like to be alone. I need time for myself. And I was like, what? Everything was perfect for me personally. Everything was perfect. And I was like thinking about our future and drawing some our future life, kids, and being married, etc. And then he's like bringing it, like throwing the towel, and says that no, everything is fine, but I have some personal issues and I need to work on it, and I would like to be alone. And it was so, what, yes, say this.
This is bringing me back to like my 14-year-old girl self and like my first like boyfriend that I had in a coffee shop, and I was just like, we're gonna be together forever. Did not happen at all. He was also in a like Nirvana cover band, so I shouldn't have been expecting much. Anyway, sorry, I just like very much parallels. Just had to comment there.
Totally feeling those emotions. Definitely on the same level. Definitely
Sorry,
the same level.
Yeah, and only after that breakup, because usually I was the one who was breaking up, and only twice the guy broke up with me. So for me, I wasn't experienced in that area, and I didn't know what to do. I was crying, of course. I cried out all of my eyes, and then I decided that fuck that. Well, why should I be miserable because someone decided to not be with me? It's totally up to him, and I don't have any right to hold him or try to get him back. So I started to focus on myself. I started to read a lot about relationships because I understood that I know nothing about that. And yeah, I discovered a lot of things. Actually, the book called "Women Are from Venus and Men Are from Mars" actually,
Women are from Venus.
Yeah. Actually, it's such a good book, and I learned a lot of stuff about relationships from that. What I was doing wrong, what I was saying wrong, what I was telling, and yeah, stuff like that. So I moved on very quickly because I totally focused on myself, on my goals, and I actually, after that breakup, I learned that I have to put myself on the first place everywhere, in anything I do, because if I don't care about myself, who else will? And and this is my life, and I have to live it as I want. So it was very good lesson. But after that, we are together anyway. Yeah. But we started it over. What?
Got back together?
Yeah, we got back together. We got back together. He really, and I actually read why he did it in the book. Men actually tend to go to the cave when they feel something, when they feel something very hard and they cannot cope with it. They need time and just cope with themselves, or just ask another man who they trust about the advice, and that's how can they cope. But some how to say, very often they don't understand what's going on, and they just want to cut the relationship, cut off everything, and yeah. So that was the reason. And after breakup, actually starting the relationship after the breakup with the same person, it also how to say, it's like an art. You have to know how to do it. You have to forget everything, live in the past, everything what was in the past, and start it over, and really over, like you're two new people. So yeah, and now it's really wonderful, and I like that it's the same person, and I didn't start any other relationships. So, but now I'm focusing more on myself, and I'm not giving more than he wants. Yeah, that's what I was doing wrong, actually, in terms of energy. That healthy relationship is when partners give each other their energy, but it should be not more or not less than the other person wants. And also you have to learn to give what that person really wants, not something that you want. For example, I like when people give me gifts. I love gifts. The same I was doing, for example, for him, and I was thinking that I'm sharing my love this way, but for him it's like he doesn't have that love language about gifts. He likes
Have you read this?
love language, the other book. Yeah,
Amazing book to read. I highly recommend.
amazing. Yeah,
I love language.
so the love, his love language is I forgot the name of it. It's when you're saying nice words to him, like you're how to say, what was it?
But affirmative words, or
Yeah,
I think it's affirmative.
yeah. So he likes that, and I was never a person who knows how to give compliments, or how to affirm that the person did, or so that's something I'm learning now in order to have healthy relationship, and he's learning to give me gifts because I love gifts.
Yeah.
So it's it's exchange.
Yeah, just to quickly tune in. It's called the 5 emotional love languages. Is that correct? I can't really remember right now.
I think just 5 love languages.
5 love languages. There we go.
Yeah.
One is to do with gifts. One's to do with affirmations. One's to do with like showing up. One's to do with
showing up. It's about time, right?
Time.
It's about sharing time, and also another one was touch.
Like really tactile. Like you need someone to hug you. You need someone to be there for you in that way. And the last one, Adam's just kind of looking them up, but like also at the same time, this is such an essential book to read, not just for relationships, but for like romantic relationships, but friendships, for relationships with your kids, or just anyone, and just understanding that everybody understands love, and love is a broad term. Love is just understanding, really, in a sense. It's just like understanding how to make somebody feel good, make them feel appreciated, and that we're all so different in how we accept love and also give love. And understanding that the way that we understand love is not the same that other people understand love, which is what Anastasia was saying with that she thinks gifts are the way of love and he thinks affirmations are the way of love. I think for me, showing up and being present is something that's really important to me. And that's my love language. It's kind of what I understood. And yeah. But yeah, sorry, continue. I just wanted to make a little segue there. It's an amazing book. Definitely read it, no matter who you are, no matter what it's for.
I think that's a must. That's one of the must-read books for everyone. And about breaking up, focusing on yourself. It's I think the best way to deal with the breakup. And from the side of the person who breaks up, who initiates breaking up, I would say that don't do that. Just you don't get to the point that you have to do that. Try to communicate as early as possible, bring it up, and do it nicely, kindly. And just choose the right person from the beginning.
See,
but
that's like a really interesting point that you just made, that like, make it work. It's just like, there's somebody recently that I had been kind of in a long distance relationship, but not really in a long distance relationship. And he's definitely not watching, because he definitely does not want to watch this show. So I can definitely talk about him in a very open way. Sorry, I'm a little bit aggro about this.
Okay, let it out. It's all good. So good.
But like, we should never have been together in the first place. We have literally nothing in common. Everything that he says, I think the complete opposite. And like, sexually, it was not working. Like, it just, in every single form of the world, it was not a good match. Like, friendship wise, acquaintance wise, hello on the streets wise, like, just not a good match. And so I think, like, also what you said is like making sure from the beginning that this is a good match, that it's a good relationship, that you're openly and honestly communicating from the get-go is incredibly important, to not have to even get to that point where you need to break up. Like, I know I do have a few friends that I'm like, wow, your relationship is amazing. Like, you guys are so in tune. I'm like, please never break up, because you're so fucking great. I actually, like, two of my friends, I'm gonna throw it out there because they're awesome. Ryan and Irina, went to their wedding, their officiation ceremony a few months ago, and they are like one of those couples that I'm like, you know what, like, fuck, never, like, you're great, you're good. You figured that shit out. You had your, like, whatever quips at the beginning, and then you just, like, you talked about it, you communicated openly and honestly, and like, that's a bar being set, like, super, like, I can't reach that high. Like, they're great.
It's a very mindful relationship.
Yeah. Where else are we going with this?
I think it would be good to talk about the actual conversation.
The actual conversation, but like, is it always a conversation?
Well, okay, let's see. So, okay, I guess I'll kick off. So, in my, like, first ever relationship, this is the one where I spoke about earlier, in that I felt like she was going through some things, and it wasn't any fault of her own, actually. Like, these were things like outside of her control, and I tried to help with as much as possible, and it wasn't anything to do with her. It was more these external circumstances which we couldn't get away from, and which, me being with her, meant that I was involved in these negative situations. And I, like, the phrase I thought was like, you hold the sword for as long as you can. And it just got to the point where I was like, I can't really do this anymore. And I would say I'm not very good at softly doing things. The way I kind of, and this is something I'm now aware of and I'm actively working on, but as in, like, usually, like, my way of dealing with things is just being like, I'm just like, it'll be fine. And I just kind of let it pass and let it pass. But then slowly things can kind of build up. And then I just go, and then I'm like, no, okay, I can't handle this anymore. And I think I'm getting better at not letting them build up so much. But then it was like the first time ever. And I felt like I couldn't really do it. I felt like I'd been trying. So like the way it happened was I went round to her house, and her like all her family had all left because they were going to something, and I can't remember exactly how I said it, but I probably just said like, look, I don't want to do this anymore, and I was very like blunt with it, and I think in retrospect, like I definitely said some things that were like too blunt and too like, oh gosh.
What?
So we said we had fallen in love, and I was like, I don't. Oh God, I feel so bad saying this right now. She may even be watching this. So I said to her like, I don't love you anymore. And I remember now, like, I can even remember like her look on her face and just being like, fuck, like that's deep shit. Because like it hadn't really been building up. It was all like sudden to her. It was both our like first relationships, first time falling in love. Yeah, and I even like I felt really bad about it, even up to like a couple of years ago, and and this was like 4 or 5 years after it happened, and even then I felt like I even sent her a message saying like, look, like I'm so sorry, like I did this to you in this way, and like I know it was like super. In a way, I'm kind of like, look, let's just kind of get it done and over. But I can see ways where like I think that's better than nothing and staying in a bad one, but. Yeah, if you could figure out a way to do it a bit more softly, I think that would be.
No, but here's the thing: it's just like I think this is like the most difficult thing because like you can't say that there's no one way to like break up with someone or end a relationship. Like people are so different. Like like what I mean, like that's part of what makes us human. Is just like we're inevitably going to fuck up. All the time. All the time we're fucking up. Every single day. Like, I am like happy to say that I fuck up every single day, like moment to moment. But that we're all trying. And I think that if you come to a breakup in an intention that you're trying to not harm the person or do the least harm, then that's kind of what's most important. And so like if you're thinking of like, as you said, like, should I be in this relationship? Should I continue this relationship that I'm not happy in? I think that you would do more harm long term.
Yes, I agree.
Than if you were in a shitty way.
Yeah.
Like even in like the shittiest way that you can possibly do it, like, okay, like fuck, like I'm just even gonna I'm scared I'm gonna break up with her on text. Like, not great, don't do that. But at the same time, making that person continue to believe that you're with them, that you're wholeheartedly with them is probably worse long term. And that cumulative effect on both of you is, I think, much worse. And it could go much worse if you don't have the clarity in your mind and like the foresight to say like, listen, like this is not working now, it's probably not going to work in the future, and maybe trust that gut instinct.
Yeah, like I don't regret hooking up with her. It was definitely the right move.
And I also think that you are not responsible for the feelings of other person.
Yeah.
And as long as you have intention to not harm, if you don't want to harm, but anyway, it happens. But so yeah, you are not responsible for their feelings. So, and after breakup, I think it's very important to not talk anymore.
Talk.
No communication.
None at
Zero.
all. That is the end. No.
Yes. If you decide to break up, that's it. Yeah.
That is it. The hardest bit. In some ways, that's the hardest.
It is definitely the hardest bit because you're like, I've been communicating every fucking
single
day. And now it's just like, now I can't talk to you. Like, shit.
At all.
Balls, fuck, yeah.
Especially when you are working together with the person and some issues are, some other parts of your life are involved into your relationship. It's so fucking difficult.
Yeah, preaching to the choir, girl.
Yeah. Like one thing I usually think after a breakup is like, because I'm always thinking about her for days,
Always.
weeks, months afterwards, and I always have this feeling like, I remember one day in the evening, I'm just like there'll be a day where I don't think about her. Like I look forward to that day, because every time you think about her, it just brings me sadness, because I'm like, God damn it, like we're broken up now.
Or
And,
I'm pissed off.
yeah, or just angry
anything.
or
I have
whatever.
emotions, and I'm like, I could spend this doing so many other things.
Yeah, and you just have to. Eventually, days go by, weeks go by where you don't think about them, and then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
like nice. But yeah, getting to that point.
It always ends.
Yeah.
It takes time.
Yeah.
It just takes time to move on. And I think it's pretty much a normal thing that you think sometimes about the person, and you think about all the great memories you spent together. And sometimes you regret about something, or even you can regret about your decision. But then you understand that no, you made a great decision that was good for you. Yeah. So yeah, it just takes time.
And also, just how quickly things can change. Like even if you are like maybe in a rut from a breakup, or like say that you're thinking about it and you're like, oh man, I don't want to be sad, or just imagine the beginning of March in Europe where there wasn't this quarantine, and how quickly things have changed, and how quickly hopefully things will change back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
So just like when you're thinking of a breakup, think of quarantine. Think of COVID-19.
And on that note, thank you very much for watching.
Thank you, Anastasia, for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
I'm gonna end it now because we've probably been recording for quite a while.
Yeah,
I mean, we like, I don't know. My thoughts are, you're all in quarantine. We're all in quarantine. These will probably get a lot shorter once we can go out and be free and gay and wild. But at the moment,
I thought that was really good.
I thought that was really good. I really enjoyed this talk.
Yeah, and like, thank you.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. Thank you very much for inviting me for that conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you. I know it was very nice to see you again. We didn't see each other for a long time.
No, I know.
We can let's end this recording right now, and then we can keep talking. So as not reveal our private conversations to the world. Not all of them. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.